Okay. That was a good way to start the show. That was the
That should have been the name.
There you go.
Now we live in full effect, because Auntie, we're doing the black woman version of what we did last week with asking black men how they view the society. So got Brandy on. I thought my cousin was gonna be on too, but
Are,
we'll see.
are we on? Are we on?
Yeah, we're live, Grandpa.
We already on?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
Joshua,
okay.
I thought you were gonna get a microphone for this week.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's my microphone because y'all can hear me. I think it's Grandpa.
We can hear you, but you're lower than everybody else.
Oh, for real?
You're like noticeably lower than everybody else.
I think that's just my laptop because I had this like I don't know 6 or 7 years now, so I've been in the process of thinking about getting a new one.
He said he's in the process of thinking about
Thinking.
We moving right now, so we in the process of moving. So I gotta check the money situation to make sure
Hello.
extenuating purchases happen.
Makes sense.
Extravagant laptops being purchased.
Well, now that we in here, let's beer in. What you Brandy? What you got in that government office that you're sitting in right now?
You know what? Now that you mention it, let me make sure you can't see nothing behind me.
I know that's right.
She out here.
I don't want to get fired being on the show.
Beer in. What you got? You got water. That's what you guys there. Coke, Pepsi products. Okay. Well, we know what water tastes like, but give your bottle of water a rating. We gotta be fair.
Okay. What is the highest? 10?
Yes.
Okay. It's Nestle Pure Life. It's not the best water. It's not the worst water. I'll give it about a 6.
You know what? To be fair, that Nestle water probably came from Michigan. If we know what they're doing, because Nestle been fighting for water rights in Michigan for a minute.
Yeah, you told me that before a couple of years ago, and I forgot about that. So I got the good Great Lakes right here.
Yeah, when you said, Joshua, we know what water tastes like, I'm like, no, I'm not water bougie. I know some people who are water bougie. And they will rate it differently. They will act like if you try to give them Dasani, they'll pass out.
Dasani has a weird taste. It has a discernibly different taste than other bottled waters to me.
I don't mind it.
I don't either. I really like Dasani. Now, Aquafina is the most disgusting thing ever made.
I actually like Aquafina. The only time I could truly taste the difference is if I buy like the gas station generic brand water. And I'm like, I think this came out the bathroom tap. But other than that, people like Fiji's so good, Essentia so good, and I'm like, it just tastes like water.
All right. Well, what you got today, Auntie? What you bringing to the liquor table?
To the liquor table, we have you might be surprised at this, nephew. Okay. And Pops, since it's the season, we got Warlock today.
Okay.
Which is an Imperial Pumpkin Stout.
I like that. Okay, that's different.
I'll tell you this. This is probably the only pumpkin beer that I like. It's actually really good, and I was happy when I saw it the other day. So I decided to grab it because it's been a few years since we had it, and it's had it. It's 8.6 ABV. So it's gonna be interesting to see what I think about it. How long has it been since we had this, man?
You're right. It's got to be about at least 3 years, 4 years. Yeah. But I remember liking this and Pumpkin. Those are the only two pumpkin beers that I like. But this was fire though. So let's see. I'm curious to see what it tastes like to me now.
But I just did the dum-dum. I literally just brushed my teeth like 5 minutes before we came on because I had some salmon stuck in my teeth. And so I couldn't floss it out. I was trying to floss it out, it wouldn't come out. So I had to brush my teeth. So we're going to see what it tastes like.
What you say, show the beer bottle again. Now we got you zoomed in so we can get a better look at it. There we go.
Warlock.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Interested.
Southern tier.
Yes,
I'm trying to be a good host today and show people what they're looking at.
Yeah, this I'm excited for this.
What you got, Grandpa?
Well, I got it. I went back to Killian.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
I couldn't think what to get, so I just said, "Hey, get some I like Killian."
There you go.
Killian's is a good beer. I remember we went through that case of beer that one time, Grandpa. That case of Killian's.
There's been a lot of Killian's drunk in Inkster.
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm having trouble hearing y'all, but
Hearing everybody?
Everybody low, but Joshua is especially low for some reason.
Well, you know, Grandpa, I might have to come over there and fix some things again. It's all right. We'll get it worked out.
Yeah, all right. That sounds like a winner to me.
We'll just be cognizant and speak as loud. You know, remember to speak louder, Pops. Okay.
What do you say?
I said we'll just try to speak louder.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Well, me and Ashley still, mostly Ashley's work, but we sold the house.
Freddie drinking the same thing?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Oh.
We sold the house. So
all right.
Our realtor gave us this bottle, so I'm gonna drink out the bottle today.
I take it you're not working today?
No, I'm not drinking the whole bottle. I'm just pouring myself a glass for the episode.
Oh, I thought you were about to take it to the head. I was about to say, okay, nephew.
No, if I wasn't working, you never know. This is a Senza Dividi Pinot Grigio 2020, imported from Italy for those who are into that stuff. So it's wine.
It's white wine.
I like Grigio.
So,
congratulations on selling the house.
Yeah, we're still in Detroit though, so we ain't leaving. But we good. It's cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Cheers, Pop.
You said what?
There we go.
All right, well, cool. Now that we into the into the topics now. Last week we talked about the good brother Stephen came on, and we talked about how society, how black men view themselves in society and things of that nature. Today, and we asked Grandpa how he felt, and back then and how it is now. We're just gonna do it for the women today. We got Brandy on, we got Auntie. Y'all go at it. I'm not gonna, I'll moderate, but I can't inject myself in this particular conversation as I am not.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you mean by that?
Well, what I mean is you always see dudes trying to tell people, or people of the opposite sex trying to tell the other what the other is and is not. And I'm not one of those people. So I'm just here to listen and, see what y'all think and feel and everything. And, answer it. If y'all talk to me, I'll say something.
Well, I'll say this. Since we're talking about black women, because if I recall, the conversation sort of started last week because Stephen was saying that he believes that the image of the black man has evolved. His question was it always that way, or has the image evolved over the years, right? And so just thinking about that, it's making me think about the image of the black woman over the years. And I always got to give shout out to Pops, because I really feel like we're finally getting some of the credit we deserve. I feel like we're finally starting to be upheld and celebrated more. And not just by, the other folks, but even amongst each other, amongst the black race. So I love that. I love the fact that there's a lot of conversation about how black women are changing the world, how black women have more education, how black women are starting more businesses, how black women have been doing all of this all along, and men aren't fighting it as much as they used to be. It seemed like at one point I was just looking through my Facebook feed this morning, my memories, and one of them is said, I shared a picture of a shirt that said, "Let's stop the rift between the black man and the black woman." Because at that point, there was so much going on where it was like whenever any black man comes out to be gay, bisexual, anything like that, they all of a sudden became this point. It's the women in his life, his woman, his baby, and it was like, it seemed like there was so much bickering at that point. But it's good to see that now the black woman is being celebrated. And I don't care what nobody say. George Bush will risk it all for Michelle Obama. Laura better keep her eyes on him.
What about you, Brandy?
I think that I can see that Black women are starting to be celebrated more. I think they're still, in my opinion, not as much as it should be. Like, I was thinking back to when the Olympics were getting ready to start, and I kept seeing all over Facebook all these Black women that were going to represent the United States. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool, go Black women. But then, of course, we had that situation with old girl who decided to smoke the weed, and then it sort of changed everything around, and they started saying like, "See, this is why we can't celebrate Black women because they do stupid stuff like this." And it's not fair to put carrying the whole race or the whole gender on one person's back. But I do also think if you're privileged enough to be in the position to shine light on Black women, you shouldn't do things to embarrass Black women.
That's a point. That's a point. But something else I was going to, hey nephew, hey niece, with the changing of the perception, I think another change that I've seen is that we're looked at more with respect as opposed to just ghetto sexual objects. Like whether they wanted to accept it or not, they always knew we were fine and we will fly. They all wanted a piece of some chocolate. We all know that, but I don't think it's as we're as sexualized overall as much as we used to be. I think that there's more credit being given to more things that we bring to the table.
I think that I would agree with most of that, but also something that I'm noticing, is in a very specific subset of men. But as I'm seeing Black women being able to excel, being put in a place to speak their truth and to speak what's important to them, I am noticing a trend of more and more people being like, well, she thinks y'all that you got to take her down a peg. And for me, it feels like that is directed specifically at Black women a lot. The more successful we are, because there are men who, and not just Black men. This is not something I'm blaming Black men for, though. The groups I'm in, it does tend to be Black men, but I've seen it across the board, where it can be threatening for some people because they think that in order for Black women to win, it's taking down, Black men or the Black family, when in reality, it's shown throughout history, throughout, like, there's actual science behind it, that when a woman succeeds, especially in the case of Black women, like, our whole families are uplifted, especially when we know our Black men are targeted unfairly. Like, um I feel like the desire to take us down a peg is starting to kind of come out a bit because people see our success, people see that we're at the front now, in some ways, and I think that that can be threatening. People, not for the men on this call, not for my husband, but still, I'm starting to notice it more the more I see us being successful and us getting our time to shine.
Yeah, J. Cole said it best. I think they scared of me, and they should be. Like, it's the truth. I've always said from the moment I had our first son, like when you watch TV and people have their kids and the baby's putting their arm and they crying and they sweating. It's like, oh, it's such an emotional moment. I ain't feel that. I was just happy his big ass head was out. I was like, Lord Jesus, thank you. I didn't have time for the emotional aspect and like what it meant. Like, oh my God, now I'm a mother. I didn't feel that until he was a few weeks old. It had to be a couple weeks. I don't think he was months yet. But one morning, I had just gotten out the shower. He was still asleep. And I just started thinking, because I was nursing him. And I just started thinking about how everybody else in this world could disappear. As long as he had me, he was okay. And I was like, damn, that's serious. Like, first of all, I gave him life and I can continue his life, just me. Like, I was like, damn, I'm powerful. Like, and that was the moment I was like, why don't more women acknowledge the power that we have? Like, seriously. And it's not, they don't want us to, just like, I said white folks don't want Black people to know the power that we have either. Fred, to tell you, when we saw, I was about to say when we saw Wakanda, when we saw Black Panther.
Wakanda.
You're on a Black show. Wakanda.
Try to acknowledge the comic book name. It's like, oh, this is a documentary of our.
But no, when we saw Black Panther, the scene when he was about to battle or whatever, and they were all the tribes were lined up against the wall, right? And you see all the beautiful colors, and you hear all the different sounds. And every time I watch that scene, I cry because I'm like, that's where we came from. Whether Wakanda is a real city or not, country or not, that is who we are. And I'm like, when did we lose that? When and how did they take that from us? Because if all Black folks knew that was us, come on now, there's no way that they can control it.
I think I find it interesting that you talk about not feeling that like blubbery tear kind of cry after you gave birth, because Sean definitely made fun of me because after the boy was born, I turned to him and I was like, Sean, I would destroy whole cities with my bare hands if it kept this boy safe. Like, it was more from a primal rage where I was like, I would raise buildings to the
whole song on his phone. All right, good.
This is the best.
I like that. That made my rage sound much more friendly and palatable. I like that. But yeah, like,
talk up a little bit louder, Ash. Pops' volume is low on this.
I was saying just like, yeah, like I felt so powerful and like I was like, I could destroy villages. I would raid anybody who came at me. Like, I will end lives with my bare hands if they came at my boy. And Sean was like, that is a weird
Yeah. That's a weird film.
Yeah, he definitely made fun of me. Like, and like obviously he came out like, and I loved him and I was like, this is my baby. Like, yeah, but like mostly it was just like I immediately felt I am so powerful that it is me and the like I am going to protect him from anything and everything. And part of that came from knowing that like Sean was gonna have me. So all I had to focus on was that baby. And I felt powerful in my own right. Like, I made him, I'm nourishing him, I can protect him. Like, it felt very like it was just a new feeling. I've always been confident, I've always felt smart and strong and outgoing, but like something about now also knowing like I gotta keep him alive made me feel even stronger. And it was something that I was glad I got to embrace that feeling and really get to feel that.
I was too tired to feel strong after I pushed him out. Maybe after I woke up, maybe, but I went to sleep. They kept waking me up like, ma'am, you can't keep going to sleep. And I was like, I'm tired. I've been doing this for a while now, so no, go nap.
I was the rageful mom that was like, nope, you can bathe, you can do everything with my baby in here. Like, he never left my side like after he was born, and like luckily I was in a place where I could do that, right? Like, I had the ability to be able to, but I also had a C-section, so I didn't have to get up. He handed them to me, but I was like, nah, you give me the little wheelie cart, and I held it next to the bed, and when they wheeled me, they wheeled him.
Yeah, that was wild when the baby was born. Like them doctors, they yank that baby from you real quick, and they take it, they grab it, they go like, we gotta put some stuff in it. I'm like, we had to, like, we definitely stayed in the room. We're like, y'all can't just be going away, because like they'll grab the baby and just run off with it.
Y'all don't want to hear what they did with our second one. Your uncle was up in the hospital about the protest. He laying in my bed with me in all his clothes, talking about he wasn't going nowhere till he saw his son. He was like, Chris, scoot over. I was like, okay. But yeah, that was a whole mess. That was a whole mess. Brandon, do you have children?
I do. I have 2 children. I was trying to think about, like, I don't think that I had a superhero moment when they were first born, mostly because after 13 hours of going through that, I just wanted to go to sleep.
Hello.
But I think for my oldest daughter, I can say it came when she went to school and she had her first incident where somebody didn't get along with her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was when I will protect her from any and all things came out. And it kind of, even now, still.
Don't lie, you said I fight kids. That's what all mamas say. Yeah. That's what you said. I fight kids.
I fight
all
kids.
Mamas have said it.
Mess with her again, and I'm gonna fight you. It started because she had a little crush on this boy, and he was mixed, but I think his mother had him thinking he was white. And so somebody had told him that she liked him, and he was like, well, that's nasty, she's black. And so then she came home he said I'm black. So then I was like, oh, hell no. Like, no, you didn't. Let me
Wow.
tell you, you black too, just in case you were wondering.
Right.
You're black as well. So, and I think with my younger daughter, I don't know, she's kind of beastie, so she don't need a whole lot of protection. But at
Call her
the
child
times
beast.
that she does, it comes out for her too.
You called her a
What
beast.
is up with the second kid?
They're
Baby,
a
a
whole different breed.
whole different one. Our little one, the first fight that either one of them got into is wintertime. Where I sit is here in the family room. They come in through the garage door. So of course I hear the garage go up, I hear the garage go down, but they don't come in the house. So I'm like, where are my kids and what are they doing? So I go out in the garage. They still standing out there hugging each other with their coats on and they're crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what happened? The little one had jumped up and hit somebody in the eye because he thought somebody was messing with his big brother. Was straight fuck. I was like, how you jump up and punch somebody in the eye? But he's never had a fearful bone in his life. But to tie these men down, because it's so weird not having my husband like, but I'll say this. One thing I felt as far as the protection mode, I felt it before I even had our first son. Babe, you remember when I called you? I think I was like 6 months pregnant. I called him and I said, I ain't having this baby. He was like, what? Like, Chris, you're 6 months pregnant. But it hit me one day that I was about to bring a black man into this world. And it freaked me out. Scared. He was like, yeah, I get that, Chris, but it's a little too late. We just want to make it do what it do. But I'm just like, it's just that fear. And I brought that up just because Ashley was talking about protection and knowing that Joshua had her, so she had to take, all she had to do was focus on the baby. It's just that as much as folks are trying and have tried to break up the black family, we just there, like that support and connection that, I love the post that, what was it, Twitter, this one woman was like, black men, why are y'all so beautiful or something? And the man replies, because we came from y'all. And I was like, come on now. That's what I'm talking about. Baby, you so busy watching that you can't even participate. And we're trying to bring y'all into the conversation. You try to see what he gonna do. Let that man do what he do.
I'm waiting for him to play his next song.
Like the soundtrack.
We are enjoying the show. Let us let us be. I want to bring Pops in though, because he always saying that the key to the future is the black woman.
There we go.
Yeah, that's who needs to be in on this conversation.
You hear that, Pops?
Yeah, I done lost the picture.
Oh, okay. Can you hear us?
I'm trying to get the sound up a little bit because I couldn't hear nothing Joshua said.
Okay.
I'm working on it though.
But did you hear what Pooh just said?
What Pooh say?
That the black woman is the key to the future.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. Our progress. I've been awoke, because I've seen all those instrumental progressions that we've been making over the years, but it always developed into somebody shifting it. In other words, what I'm trying to say is what I thought was progress maybe wasn't progress. we moved up, but not progress.
Right.
Well, you got a perfect person to ask that. Brandy works in like the government service. You work for child care services, don't you?
Yes, I work for the Department of Health and Human Services and foster care.
So I'm not going to ask you how long you've been working there, but I will ask, since you've been there, do you think there's been any positive change for like how black people have gone through the system, or is it pretty much the same, or is it worse?
So it's interesting that you asked that. In 2020, they started this DEI initiative to try to, one, make things better for minority employees, and two, also start looking at why is there a disproportionality among black children in the foster care system in comparison to white children in the foster care system? Why are black children staying in the system longer? They're not having the same outcomes that the white children are having. And so we've had to drill it down to each county has to answer questions on the racial makeup of their staff that they have, and then the racial makeup of the children that are coming into care and the children that are exiting care. So one of the things that we're seeing is the Black kids are lingering here. We are also seeing where, if you compare them to their white counterparts, they're removed more. White people are given more prevention services, things to help stop the removal from actually occurring. A big thing that we've been focusing on is if a person yells at you, they're just being passionate because you're trying to take their children away from them, as opposed to they are aggressive and angry and threatening, and you have to be afraid. Like, if you really think about it, if you're coming in saying you're going to take their kids, they should be upset. I'm going to be concerned if they're not upset.
Right.
So just because someone is yelling at you, it doesn't mean that they're being hostile. But I think that is another thing that goes into how Black women are viewed, especially poor Black women. Poor Black women are viewed as hostile and aggressive, and I'm so afraid, I need a safety partner to go to their home, or they live in an area that is poor. But on the flip side of that, we have foster homes and things that are in areas that we know are like sundown towns and things. But the Black workers are expected to suck it up and go to those homes. We don't get safety partners.
No.
But if they're afraid of the Black family, they get safety partners. That's crazy.
Wow.
No. Wow.
So we're trying to change that. I think that our director is really committed to that. And so we've seen some things that have happened. We got a list together of areas in the state of Michigan that are sundown towns and not friendly to minorities, so that we can look at if you have to go there, you need to take a safety partner. What'd you say?
There's legit still sundown towns. Like, y'all got it on file.
Yeah, there's actually a website that you can go to that lists the sundown towns by state.
Put that
You see, we all about to start looking.
Put that. Hey, Brandy, put that in the chat, or put that in the private chat on here, so I can put it on the thing. People can find out.
Okay.
Because that's some
Let me
serious
look
stuff.
at my phone and see if I can find it.
Because I bet you Novi and Livonia is on there.
Definitely Novi, Livonia.
Oh, you want? Oh, okay. That's very interesting. Now, is this just in Michigan, or is this like a whole federal network that's is every place?
No. When I went on the site, I clicked on Michigan and it gave me the Michigan cities, but you can click on any state and it'll give you a list of the states. And from what I saw, it seems like most of the places were places I would think.
We are looking.
Oh, I clicked Illinois. This one got the whole.
Anna was on there. So there's this town in not too far from where we went to college called Anna. Is the name of the city is Anna, ANNA, and it was readily known that Anna stood for "Ain't No Allowed."
Oh,
kid you not.
Wow.
Bro, so people it's the whole state of Illinois.
People who chiming into this episode, Brandon just let us know this is a site that you see on the banner that these are it'll let you know where the sundown towns are in your state. Apparently, that's very real still, y'all.
That's crazy.
This is a legit situation right now.
Explain what a sundown town is for anybody who does not know.
Well, Brandy, you said this thing. You don't can you give the definition?
It's a town where when the sun goes down, Black folks need to not be around.
Yeah. That is crazy.
I wonder how long this site's been around. I mean, like, the knowledge of sundown towns has been around forever, but I wonder how long the site's been around.
I feel like I looked it up. It was started by a guy named James Lowen. It was based on. You remember the Green Book that they used to have back in the '60s? So he tried to bring it back in the early 2000s. So I think it turned into this website from what I was reading about the history.
Good Lord. Arlington Heights. I think that's where my sister lived. Barrington. Shoot. Yeah.
Bro, that's
This
all
is,
Illinois.
yeah, it is.
Hey, show put the map up
That is
on
crazy.
your screen so I can show it on the board so people can see it.
Like share it.
Yeah, you know how you know you doing. You be posting stuff. But yeah, man, that's very interesting. That's a gem, Brandy. So like, is this known to like a lot of like people who work with you, or like?
Um, I think that if you're a minority, you know the places that are not comfortable for you. I
Mm-hmm.
think that this is more so to show our white coworkers like these are the places that are not good. So if you're thinking about placing a child there, think about that. Because the reality is, if you have a place where you won't send your workers, why would you send a child to live there?
Mm-hmm.
Look
Hello.
how long Illinois is.
Right. I'm just now on the P's. I'm on Pinkyville. I've
What's
been
the
to
Oh,
Pinkyville.
what's Michigan looking like? What's that? Allen Park? Yeah, I can see that. Bad Axe, that makes sense.
This
Brown
is,
City, Cadillac. I don't.
so if
Dearborn.
we
Yep,
think this long, I'm
Dearborn. That
scared to
makes
see
sense.
Texas, Mississippi, and all them other states.
Dearborn makes a lot of sense. Flushing. I can see Fenton. Ecorse sometimes. Oh, go to. I know Taylor's on here.
Wow.
Livonia. Yep, Livonia's on there. Novi. Novi's about to be on here. Novi's not on there. That's interesting.
That is interesting. I don't know how it
Taylor.
skipped
There we go. Traverse City. There we go. The whole Upper Peninsula.
the whole upper.
the whole
The whole
UP.
Upper Peninsula. Like y'all better not cross that bridge.
Well, I bet you this Texas list long.
It's not that long. And Mississippi is short. Lies you tell. They better come on and stop playing. Click on Mississippi and see how short that list is.
See if Tupelo is on there.
Wait till y'all see this. What?
What?
Lies. Lies.
There's an it Mississippi. Exposed.
Look at this though. Not
Even
suspected sundown town, but interest for other reasons. Look at all of those. They're saying
man,
that not
bye. Shoot, even Missouri's list is long. I think with some of these southern states, it's just expected and assumed the whole state is a sundown state. How about that?
But not like
Yeah.
those states. I mean, those cities in particular are banned. Like that's a sun up town in the South. Like once you cross the Mississippi,
Yeah,
the sun up town at that point.
they better go somewhere with this. I'm not
Yeah,
buying
they got
it.
in the South. They ain't about that long list. Like,
Yeah. They like,
oh,
we
but
just
look,
put
County.
Alabama.
hold on.
Not
In
even
Georgia,
city, county.
in Georgia, they put it all the counties. So that Georgia let you know. Look, fam,
That's like the whole state.
y'all got Atlanta. Be easy.
They should put everywhere except Atlanta.
Everywhere except Atlanta. You got Atlanta.
That's crazy.
That's,
Wow.
that's wild. But I mean, look, let's bring it back to the actual what the conversation was originally about. I mean, you dropped a gem there, Brandy. Man, I'll
Yeah.
keep this up so people can find it. But man, so what do you think? I guess we'll go back to it. What do you think society has expects of you guys right now versus when you guys were younger? Like, okay, I can make a time frame. So, how do you think of yourself differently as a black woman from when you were a teenager to now?
I think when I was a teenager, um, I was probably viewed as a sex object that was going to grow up and bear a bunch of children and be on welfare and be poor and not be able to read or write or take care of myself. I think now, a lot of times when I enter into spaces, it's like, oh my gosh, like you're very articulate. You're so smart. And it's like, yeah, I am. I have a college degree. Like, duh. But it's more like, oh my God, I can't believe a Black woman can string together these sentences.
Yeah, I think the same. I think that when we're young, it's like that. It's like society has to sort of wait to see what we're going to do to decide how they're going to view us. It's like they.
Oh, Grandpa, I think Grandpa, you gotta log out one of the things you in. Grandpa, you did something. It affected him too. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, nope, it's still there. Grandpa, you're making an echo.
Eddie can't hear you.
Grandpa, you gotta log out one of
you got to log out one of the accounts or something there.
Oh, okay. I got some sound.
Yeah, but you gotta log out one of the accounts. You got two of them. You got echo.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can hit
How you
mute.
log out?
Yeah.
Can you hit mute?
Okay.
Can I hit what?
All right. It only do it when you speak. I was saying to mute your speaker so it wouldn't hear it, but you got to close out of one of those accounts.
All right, he did it. Unmute. All right, bet.
Oh well.
We're back to normal. We got it.
Yeah, you're good now.
Yeah, only I ain't got no picture.
That's all right. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear now. Pretty good.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
Well, what were you saying?
I was just saying, I think that society, when we're younger, it's like they have to play a waiting game once we get to a certain age to determine which path they think we're going to go on. In high school, it is expected for us to graduate. I think back then it wasn't expected for us to do too much, other than maybe get a trade or something like that, or, without being fully educated, whatever that means. And I think that now it's still funny how people seem, I don't know if you experience this, Brandy, but people still, not my Black people, I think Black folks get it now, but sometimes others are surprised at my level of education, my work history and things like that. And it's just funny, like, why are you surprised when you wouldn't be surprised by anybody else? I don't think you would be. But at the same time, I do acknowledge that there are times where things may not be racially biased, but typically they are. So I remember when my mom was sick in the hospital. At the time, I was an online professor. And I was sitting in there with my mom grading papers. And the doctor came in and said, "Oh, what you studying?" And I was like, "Nothing, I'm teaching it." And he was like, "Oh, really?" It was like, he was just so taken aback that I was actually the college professor. It was just weird. But I think at this point now, the Black woman is expected to do everything. Yes. And achieve everything. So, and it ain't even just about Kamala. I never remember how to say her name. So whatever, y'all. I don't even think it's about her. I don't think it's about Michelle Obama.
You made another whole screen, Grandpa. You make an echo again.
Uh-oh.
I got the sound down.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I just think it's just us as a collective whole. I think we're finally being taken seriously. And it also helps when we have men like y'all who are
Don't you freeze?
I think she froze.
She having a deep thought. I thought she was having an extremely deep thought. They got Auntie was about to say something profound, and then it got to her. Are you back, Auntie?
I don't even know what y'all heard. What did I say?
Nothing. You were about to say it. Brothers like y'all, and then it stopped.
See how men don't want us to stick together. I was saying, and brothers like y'all who have been very adamant about supporting and encouraging and respecting us and edifying us. You know, it's beautiful when you see these award ceremonies and these Black men are giving credit to these Black women who play roles in their lives and not just their mama. You know, it's dope. It's dope. And you know what? One thing I will say this, and maybe the reason why the image of the Black folks is different and why Black folks are sticking together, that damn Trump made us all look at each other like, look here, y'all. Ain't nobody else gonna protect us. We got to work together. Like, we played all that ha crap before, but look here. We got to stick together. I know my baby that like hearing that. What you say, baby?
Yeah, no, I like hearing that because I mean that's the truth, but it's just a shame that it takes a fool like Trump to get Black people to remember you still in a country where America is always going America. I mean, it don't matter who the hell in the office, you know what I mean? They ain't got nothing to do with it. They was American when Obama was in office. They ain't
American.
Yeah, America go America, bro. That's why we got it. That's why we got a whole ass website dedicated to sundown towns. Still identifying because America going America. I don't give a damn what I don't care what nobody say. I've seen enough history of this country, and they just consistently do the same thing, right? So it just frustrates me when we get lulled into a sense of comfort, like we didn't achieve something and the game is over. Like, and these folks, every time you get something, they craft a new way to take it from you. This is America's going America, right? So we got to keep remembering that. But Black women have served, you know, and done so much for us. Like I think about like Shirley Chisholm, right? Y'all was talking about like when you rise, they got to figure out a way to pull it out from under. Just imagine what she was feeling, you know. And I think today we get more exposure to things because of the media. But man, listen, they ain't never gave Black women no damn break. Not here on this continent. You got to, when you go back into our history, I mean, hell, Black men here don't give Black women a break. Not all of them, right? But too many. But they acting like they oppressors, right? We've been colonized of the mind, so we treat each other like they treat us. And the worse I can treat you, the better I think of myself because I'm more like Massa, right? But when you go back into history before that, you know, man, it's always been about the Black woman. So I just wish people would just know they shit more. I think it'd just solve a lot of things, a lot of problems. But we just act like our daddies, act like your white daddy. Your white daddy beat Black women, so you should do it, you know. And it doesn't have to be physical, right? It doesn't have to be physical, but beating them down, it's just crazy. We're bastardized people, though.
What'd you say, babe?
We're bastardized people, a caricature of ourselves, right? And they projected an image of who we are that's the worst of us, and we embracing it, right? That's just the truth. I felt like Pops with the shoulder on that one.
Yeah, but it's like we truly are the double minority. It's like we have to fight through being a woman. We have to fight through being Black, navigating all of it. And it's, you know, so it leads me to a question. I don't know if I've asked it on the show before, but I know Freddie and I have talked about it before. But the question is, if you had to choose one first, are you Black or are you a man? Are you Black or are you a woman? Which one would you say?
I'm Black.
Black.
I'm Black.
What about you, Pops?
He on mute because of the echo.
He
got multiple screens up.
Well, get Pops out the corner. Pops on punishment. Get Pops out the corner.
You unmuted, Grandpa.
We got it. Yeah, now I see why.
Yeah, Grandpa got the echo, but
hey, on a quick beer note, I don't like this.
Yeah, it's doing something. It's not what it was before. It's real
Yeah.
bitter.
Well,
And I was looking like to see if it was old, but it's
that
not.
I looked at that too. But I think the difference is our palates are way more mature now than they were 3-4
Yeah.
years ago. And this was a pretty good stout, but this is like it's weak, it's flat, it's bitter.
Yeah.
They got like that. They got the weird twang. It ain't even a good twang.
I'm not gonna pour it out, so I give it a 5. Like 4.5, 5. It's not
Yeah,
something
I
I'm
think
like,
I'm
ooh,
around the 5. I was expecting like 8 territory. So this is about a 5.
So this wine I got was free, and it's a celebratory wine, so it's a 10. I don't
I
even.
I
think
was about to say, look
that
here.
warrants a 10.
That's a 10 when you don't got to pay for it and it's celebratory. But you know what? It's interesting because I think about. Well, so I know Brandy through like Michigan State sports and everything, and it's very interesting on how it's I shouldn't say it's a like most college sports and professional sports is pretty much male dominated in terms of like the
Mhm.
things you see and the opinions you have, and you know what, like I'm not sure if Auntie's a sports fan, but I know Grandma was. Like is the politics of everything y'all been talking about a part of that too still, or do you feel like when you go to a sports bar, everything it's not just another thing where you feel like I'm being sexualized or I can enjoy it when I'm watching with my peoples.
Well, I think from my experiences, I don't know if you remember back to the other board we used to be on, but I would say things and people wouldn't listen to it all the time because I'm a girl. And what does a girl really know about football? Well, here's what I know about football. My father loved football. My father started me watching football when I was 2. I remember being 5. He would have a 6-pack of beer. I would have a 6-pack of root beer, and we
Yes.
would be on the couch watching football. So I know a whole lot about football, and I'm telling you what I see, and I'm giving you my opinion, but I have to prove myself in those spaces every time I go into a conversation with men about sports. Now, the funny part about that is my husband, who looks like he could play sports, he don't like sports at all. So people think that he is like the sports guy, but we're like total opposites. So I'll say something to him that he will then repeat at like the barbershop just so he can be a part of the conversation. And the people at the barbershop are like, oh, wow, you're so smart. Like, that's really good. And then he comes back and he says, thanks, babe. They said that,
Wow.
and I'm like, wow. But I went to the barbershop and I said something and they're looking at me like, what are you talking about? Like, but when he says what I said, it makes total sense though.
Mhm. Yep. Pretty much.
That's yeah, I believe that 100%. That's the way it is. I mean, people gotta change that. We gotta change that. But so I guess another pointed question I should say. So Brandy, I want to ask you now that what was it? The past couple of years, especially as I'm a contractor, and you government worker, like, do you think that you would be able to? You think you would be able to wear your hair the way you do now that you would have done 10 years ago without it being like an issue?
Um, well, I never wore any hairstyles that were like really unique or would cause any problems. I mostly just
Well,
wear,
anything a black person does is unique in my eyes when they
well,
come to
I
Bless
that.
you.
just wear ponytails.
Yeah.
So I don't, I mean, right now my hair is braided, and I think what ends up happening is people keep walking up to me like, "Oh, can I touch it? How long did it take to get that done? Does this hurt?" And I'm like, "Don't touch me. No, you can't touch my hair. I'm not an exhibit in a museum. Google it if you want to know the answer to it." Um,
That's still happening.
mhm,
When,
all the
when was
time.
when was the last time that happened?
Um, when Brianna got married, I had gotten a wig made, and so the wig was on, and people wanted to keep touching my wig.
Rapper done got 6 different. He done got 6 different. He's like, I can't even. Okay, there we go. It's like, how? Why does this keep happening? Continue, Brent.
People wanted to keep touching my wig at that point, and I'm like, will you stop? Then they want to know, well, how do you get the wig on? What's under the wig? Like, my personal business. Stop touching me.
Mm.
I'm glad that you said that because what is it about white people or people who aren't black that think that it's okay to enter people's personal space and then try to touch them regardless? Like, you don't just roll up to somebody you don't know, regardless of who they are, and just try to touch their physical form, especially unannounced. You know what I mean?
They weren't raised right.
Right. No.
That conversation just isn't had. They're raised to be entitled. Whatever they want, they get. Whatever they think they can do. Whereas we're taught from an early age to respect people's boundaries. We're taught to stay in your own lane. They're not. And then when they're not taught that young, it doesn't magically appear as an adult. They really do feel like they can touch and do whatever. I remember this lady when I had the oldest son. He's a baby in the car seat on the stroller. This lady came over and literally was like, "Oh, look at that cutie." Took his head back and started. I said, "Ma'am, if you don't stop touching his hat, can you please back up?" But she just really thought she had every right to touch on my son and remove his hat and play with his hair. Some random lady in the store didn't think anything of it. We don't operate like that. And I know that sounds pretty racist. That sounds really bad. But I'm just being honest. We don't do that. We know that just like you don't kiss on people's babies, you don't do stuff like that. We respect that. We were raised that way. We don't want that happening around our people. We're just not going to do it. I'm not going to walk up to no baby. I think hard and long about even looking at a child for more than 3 seconds. You know, but that's just not how they were raised. Very different. I especially remember being pregnant. Lord, how many of them walked up, rubbed my belly? If you don't, ma'am, who are you? Why?
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought up that because people weren't raised a certain way. As black women, how do you feel about the fact that because you know this just happened? So you especially in the Chicago area, how do you feel about people still? What did you think? I mean, I was getting to the point. What did y'all think about what happened to R. Kelly? Are you happy that the systematic that like this dude was apparently taking advantage of everybody? Like, and like I saw people still trying to justify it. Like, what do you think? Like, it was men and
He
women.
should fry. His friends should fry. The parents should fry. Everybody who's complicit in it should go down because he was taking advantage of babies. They were still children. I don't care how fast these little girls were. I don't care how much they flirted, whatever. They're still damn children. Every child, glamorizes an adult, period, and then an adult celebrity. Sure, but as an adult, we're supposed to make those decisions and help guide those children to make better decisions. And the crap that he did, like I say, his friends, his family, everybody who knew about it and knows parents, they should all go down.
How can he's the only one that got charged, right?
Exactly. That's why all of them should go round them all up.
I think what was it? What type of charge? They did racketeering or something. So like when that normal isn't that it was it racketeering or was it conspiracy for racketeering? It's one of those charges that normally a group of people gets charged with. So I think this is just the beginning. And
I hope so.
And I think a bunch of people are about to go to jail or worse. But
like they say R. Kelly about to be like Nino Brown. Like I'm gonna take out everybody with me, gonna reach in his pocket and pull out, and he should. All y'all go. Bye-bye.
But I have told you this before. People don't actually go to jail for the crimes that they commit against kids. I work in foster care and I'm telling you that they don't go to jail for those things. It always gets pled down to the very basic charge and they're back out able to do this stuff all over again.
Wow.
So I feel like he only is where he is because it's gotten so much attention. It's been all over TV. So
what I'm trying to get to in addition to that is like you saw it, Brandy. You still had grown people talking about like this, you know, like why they just going after him, blah blah blah. I'm just like, let's focus on the fact that everybody knew what he was doing, and let's focus on that he's getting punished for it. Let's not focus on that. It was like I feel like black people at times, or just anybody, I should say, people in general, when they think when they like somebody, they're like, why is this person and ignoring the hundreds and thousands of other people who also get prosecuted? But like I feel like, and I hate I'm not gonna use that term, but there's certain people who are in the community who are like who are quote unquote, for lack of a better term, want to be woke at the time they want to be woke at. And I'm like, R. Kelly's not the hill and not the hill you want to die on. Like that's not the time you want to be woke. Like there's tons of times that people want to try to like let's get together, let's talk about group economics, and that's when they want to call you crazy. But let R. Kelly go to jail, and now people want to talk about law and what's right and wrong. And I'm just like, what world are you in? Like, what reality is it where you think, like, what reality is in it where you think it's okay where anybody can take advantage of anybody else, let alone what is it, dozens of other people, children, men and women, young and old, and you're like, well, I'm still gonna listen to 12 play. Like, I could still, I like the music's not the person. When the person writing the music is basically telling you what I'm doing, the music is the person. Like, I made this example the other day. I'm like for biblical people, like you don't listen to the devil's music not because the music's good or bad, it's because you don't like the devil. So so I mean, the mental gymnastics I've seen of like when this has happened, it's just astounding. And these very same people will try to have these convictions about like what you should and shouldn't do. But I'm like, why are you why nobody's music is that good. I'll just say that. No one's music is that good.
Agreed. Like I always say, I'm like, imagine that was your daughter he was pissing on. Let's tell me again that how much you love how 12 plays classic.
That's not even the thing about the piss. It's the fact that people, these are children. Like
I'm just saying, just in general, whether it was somebody you had sex with or whatever, but just period, the way the violations and the just all of it, it all adds up. And the pissing was the proverbial icing on the cake. Like, not only did you already take advantage of this child, you took advantage of her, you're sleeping with her, you're blatantly recording it, and then you're going to pee on her. Really? Really?
And that's another failure. That's another failure of our quote unquote justice system, because it really is about how much money you got and who's backing you. People were making a lot of money off R. Kelly, and they're like, we can't let this cash cow go, and they were prepared. And like you said, Auntie, everybody needs to go, because that's the one thing I will say about these people who are quote unquote like R. Kelly. They're right. Everybody needs to get taken up. Find the judges who gave them lighter sentences, find the lawyers who just looked the other way, find the police officers, because you can't commit these type of crimes unless your justice system is in on it at some level. You paying off somebody. Get these people locked up too. Everybody affiliated with them locked up too. Whatever you gotta do, because these people are what is it? It's a conspiracy. Like it's a conspiracy. It's an actual conspiracy. This is the time where you can say this is an actual conspiracy, because no one person can commit all this by themselves.
But it's sad that so many other people, and I won't even just say men, but mainly men, whatever, feel the way he feels. They will make it seem like they'll even try to go back to biblical terms or old time days. If she's bleeding, she's a woman. She could have a family. So what I'm doing ain't nothing wrong. If this was 100 years ago, I could have married her and blah, blah, blah. Like, there are all these excuses for why what they're doing is not wrong. Man, look at her shape, look at her body. Oh, she was flirting, like just all of that. And some of them have that sickness of where they want to be the first to deflower and all of this stuff. It's like there's so many people who think like that.
There are people who are just evil.
Yes.
It's sickness empowers people to try to use it as defense, like, well, I'm mentally this, that, and the other. It's not true.
It was sickness when they were marrying off 9-year-old girls to grown ass men back in the day. That's a sickness. That's disgusting.
No, that's plain disgusting. That's evil. You taking advantage of people's bodies without their consent is evil. I don't play that whole people got sick or they got problems game. It's you. Some people are just good. Some people are evil, and
Yep.
sometimes you gotta take people out, evil people out the game.
Yep.
And that's what we stopped doing. We stopped taking evil people out of the game and protecting them with the legal system, quote unquote. Well, we
Mm-hmm.
gotta go through the judicial process. Well, if you come into my house and you try to rape anybody here, this that's judge, jury, and executioner. Like whoever fired first. That's what it is. It's not about you going like this might come back to bite me, but I'm serious. You can't just go over people and try to protect people who do wickedness with the law. If you are taking advantage of people's bodies, if you are harming them in the way where they're uncontrollable, you are a wicked evil person. And the fact that the law has so many loopholes to get these people out, and like how Brandy said, how children in the system get affected the most.
Yeah.
That just tells you how corrupt the legal system is. I understand that we as adults get the short end of the stick as black people at times, but the fact that there's so many loopholes for children is truly disgusting.
It's
Like
corrupt because a lot of the folks who wrote the laws like kids.
That is true. And the
That's
people that
why.
are having to prosecute them like kids too.
Exactly. That's why. Why would they put in laws that are going to persecute themselves? They like playing with the kids too. They think it's acceptable. So, of course not. That goes right into these drug laws and stuff too. I mean, it all ties into it. Of course, we're not going to push for laws that are going to lock up the opiate, folks who are addicted to opiates and all that stuff. Because guess what? My kid uses them. My kid don't do no crack though, so crack is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it goes. The legislators, they put things in place that are going to benefit them. That's going to. They do those nasty things together. Birds of a feather.
You're telling too much truth right now. I mean, that's exactly what it is. Oh, you know what? God damn, we gotta start wrapping up the show. We gotta give some final thoughts. I'm
Okay.
gonna unmute Grandpa for a second to see if is he asleep?
Nah, he there.
Grandpa,
Pops.
he wake. All right, cool. Grandpa.
Yeah.
What is you got to get rid of one of them?
Quickly, what is your final thought before the echo kills us?
Do what now?
What is your final thought before the echo gets us?
Nah, that sound is bothering her.
Okay, we'll come back to you, Grandpa. Uncle Pooh, go first, then Auntie and Brandy can go.
The black women gonna save us.
Here we go.
I had to do it in honor of Pops. It's just the truth though. So you better start protecting and taking care of these black women. They are our future. So we got to figure it out at some point. And stop listening to other people who ain't got no long-term interest for us as a people. We got to start listening to ourselves. So one day we're gonna wake up. I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it's probably gonna be a black woman shaking our shoulders. So
what about you, Auntie? What's your final thought?
I think that there's been incremental change in how the black man and the black woman have learned to respect and protect and encourage and lift each other. And I'm not sure if it is Trump or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but I love the trajectory that we're on. And I just can't wait to see what will happen when we keep it up. I really do. And it's not even about glamorizing each other's bodies. It's really just about highlighting the spirit of the black man and highlighting the spirit of the black woman. I think that we're all starting to get that and recognizing each other as kings and queens, brothers and sisters, no matter what. And it just feels good to see. It feels good to see, and I can't wait for it to keep growing.
Mm-hmm. What you, Brandy? What's your final thought today?
My final thought is we've made some progress. We gotta keep that momentum going to make more progress. We as black women have to support and embrace each other, along with the black men supporting and embracing us and pushing and motivating each other. That's the only way it's gonna happen.
And I know I'm supposed to say final, but I got another one. I love being black, goddamn it. I wouldn't change to be nothing else.
That's her rudeness, tootiness final thought.
Right.
You know, she pop in there once in a while, like, you forgot to say.
All right, Grandpa, we're gonna throw you in. What is your final thought?
Who are you talking to?
You.
Me?
Yeah, what is your final thought?
Oh, okay. My final thought is I don't know what's going on, but I keep getting all that noise.
You got two screens up. You got to close one screen out.
All right, I closed one. I thought I did, but evidently I didn't.
You got two up. You got to close one.
But my final thoughts is I'm a woke. I got a shirt the other day, so somebody reminded me. You know who it is? I think it might have been Freddie. Freddie the third.
Yeah.
I think he recognized I was awoke. After all our incremental changes and everything, and then we ain't moved again. And I think Freddie Senior kind of emphasized that, hey, you know, every time we make a change, somebody put a roadblock in there, you know, or try to figure a way to divert you, you know. Make you think you're making a change, but then you look around and you're in the same place you was, you know. Folks still trying to keep you from voting, trying to dominate you, you know. Even though, you know, all these years, and we fighting for the same thing over and over again, you know. My final thought is I'm awoke.
I'm gonna call Grandpa's echo the ancestors' echo voice. Like, you know, when you talking to when Mufasa was talking to Simba, and it was just that great echo in the sky.
Yeah, I really felt like we were sitting in like an arena or something, and Pops was like a hologram at the top talking to us like God. Like it was just like being projected to us.
That's the upper room voice. But let me see. Final thought. Thank you, Brandon, for coming on again. You know, we always appreciate having guests on the show. Thank you, Auntie, you know, Brandy, for, you know, speaking your mind about the current situation, which how you view being black as a woman in society today, and you know that's very insightful. Especially, also, thank you, Brandy, for this justice Tugalo.ed thing, edu, because
you're welcome.
You don't understand. That's a big thing you done did. I guess my final thought is, protect, provide, and hold each other accountable. Black people, make sure that y'all are taking care of each other. Don't allow pettiness and ego to remove yourself from what's important. I can hearken to earlier today. We were talking about Imani Bates, who committed to Michigan State, then backed out, and certain people were mad about it. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, the dude's still black. This is all college sports is make believe. I want him to do well for himself because that's what I want. Now, if he plays state, I want us to demolish him, but I do want him to do well. And I think about that, and that's the micro to the macro, wherein you definitely need to put aside certain things because if things are petty, then they're not helping push the black agenda, black people forward. Then it's out to quote my uncle, it's just a part of white supremacy, and we don't need anything that shackles or holds us back. So thank you guys again for watching the show. You know, use this website, write it down, leave it up. I won't put the show's battery back up, but thank you again for watching. We'll see you guys next week. See you. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you,
Thanks, Brandy.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Thanks for having me.
See you, fam.
Grandpa done unmuted himself. I had unmuted him.
Hey, you can't hold me down, son. There's 91 up in this piece.
Episode 115.